Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Managing Partners Podcast. We try to bring you the best managing partners to share their stories and how they're growing their firms. And we also bring you experts in other industries that can help your law firm. And so with that said, we have a guest today, Robert. Welcome to the show. He's here to share a lot about video and how you can use that today. So
video, everybody's favorite word.
So this is a video episode. We know video is important. We know how important it is in your business, your firm, and how many ways it can be used. And so we're going to cover a lot of topics today on video and how you and your law firm can benefit from video and different ways you can use it. And I'll also kind of tie in how, like my company, a digital marketing firm, can utilize video and how helpful it is when a client has the ability to produce video or has the willingness to. So we're going to cover a lot of that kind of topics today and get into that. So Robert, I appreciate you coming on to share everything you know. It's been great getting to meet you and talk with you about video so far. And so without further ado, Robert, please tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, how you got where you're at, and a little bit, clearer picture of your business and your company.
Well, I'm going to start off with a little bit of value first before I get into me. And, you mentioned about, you talking about how your firm utilizes video as a digital marketing company. I think that's a great place to start because video is nothing more than content. And you, as a digital marketing company, create content or get content from your clients to do what you need to do. And again, video is nothing more than content. It happens to be highly valued. It happens to be the content of choice for most people at the beginning of a research process or buying process. Mm-hmm. And there's so many other value props with video content we'll talk about later in the episode. But I want to start off with video is nothing more than content. And when a law firm says, and I've heard this before, oh, we don't really have any need for video, but they're blogging and they're doing social and they have a website with lots of words and pictures. That's all content. So there's a need for it. It's just a matter of figuring out where you get started. So, that's a little bit of value. And how I became to talk about video is when I started my business in 2011 without any background in video. I was not a video guy before I became a video guy. And built a business. My background is in digital marketing, but I saw the writing on the wall with video because I was part of some of the agencies that built websites back in the 2000s, 1999, 2000, 2001, when nobody had a website, nobody did email marketing, when it was spam, and saw the adoption of all those digital marketing tactics that everybody listening takes for granted. Of course you do email marketing. Of course you invest in SEO. And of course, what are you, crazy? Of course we have a website. Back then, that wasn't the case. So if you're new to video, you're not late to the game because in another 3 or 4 or 5 years, everybody is going to have video. It's going to be, of course we have video. Whereas now it's still at the early adopting phase.
That's a good point. I mean, I feel like a lot of people just don't have video. They just don't do it. And it's kind of like this extra thing or this something they haven't, explored yet, or they don't have the ability to do it. But I still feel like it's, not everyone has it. Some do that are ahead of the game. And it's still not like a requirement at this point where a website and a business card and an office 100% required, right? And then so it's a good point.
I mean, if you think about kind of where video is on the adoption curve versus some of the other digital marketing tactics or other communication marketing tactics are out there, right? People need to start to learn how to do it. And I would say, again, if you're late to the game with video or you haven't started yet, or maybe you've done some video, it's not successful. Video is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And organizations and firms should look to invest in video X amount of times per year. For one firm, that's once a year. For another firm, that's twice or 3 times a year. I have clients that are doing videos or 2 videos every month for different practice areas, thought leadership, subject matter expert pieces that are quick hits.
Yeah.
But again, traditionally they are writing content. Now they are getting on camera and producing that content. So every firm needs to develop the cadence that is right for them, but they need to start doing it first. And nobody should be scared because you're not going to be experts the first 1 or 2 times that you do it. There's a lot that goes into video, from the pre-production planning and the messaging to learning how to speak on camera and to be good on camera and understand what the editing process is like. And when you do all of that, you only have a .mov file, which then what do you need to do? Oh, then I need to get that into my website or email that or into social and on blogs and optimize that with companies like yourself to actually take that .mov piece of content and get value out of it. So that whole process, once you've been through that entire process once or twice, you're going to get better. And then you're going to develop a cadence and a process internally for doing the video. And unfortunately, it will take 1.5 to 2 years for most companies or firms to get it right. It's well worth the effort, though. It's so well worth the effort.
Oh, I mean, so yeah, I agree. I think every law firm listening, it should be worked into your normal, like I said, like you said, a cadence, like every month or every quarter, whatever. It's just built in. We're going to record these videos, get the partners involved or other folks on the team involved. If you're a single attorney, get in front of the camera yourself, get the setup. You can get a cheap setup. You don't have to go nuts. You can hire companies like Roberts, and he's got all kinds of different ways that you can get video done, which we'll talk about here in a bit too. For those folks that need the help and the guidance and the consulting as well, and the editing, right? So that's the other thing.
I would say
I can capture video right now on my phone and get a light camera, a ring light and a phone. It's a start. And
I do want to say this though, and I need to say this because lawyers are listening to this, and if I said, "Oh, I'm going to go to LegalZoom," and get my contract done, they're going to be like, right? Because there's a value to lawyers. Lawyers is a professional service, and guess what? That's what video is well. Yes, we do have hardware, whether it's holding in our hands or lights or expensive cameras and lenses. There is hardware that goes with the professional service, but video is a professional service. And if you've never done video before, maybe you want the help of a professional service throughout the entire process to do that a couple times. And then we talked about the cadence. Develop that cadence of when you do video yourself and when you hire, and develop that cadence, because we want our clients doing their own video.
Well, you're like a personal trainer in a sense too, right? It's kind of like a personal trainer, accountability, coaching, consulting, how to do it. And the thing is, I feel like, so I get what you're saying 100%. And I think where I see people slip a lot, and this is a lot of different things, podcasting, video, is they might get some of the equipment or they might make a little space for it or whatever, and then they just don't do it, because there's no one holding them accountable. And they're just like, yeah, I'll get to that later. And so they're not developing that cadence. They're not building up that skill. And,
I love the personal trainer analogy.
Yeah.
Like everybody can go to the gym, but they might not be doing the exercises right. But once they get taught how to do those exercises, then they have gains in their body type, because their form is correct. It's the little tweaks, that a personal trainer can tell you on what to do. And I think that's a great analogy.
Yeah. Plus, if you're paying a personal trainer, you know they're waiting there at the gym for you at 6 a.m. You got a more reason to show up versus,
or
I'll do that later. You know, instead I got Robert waiting for me. I better show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of points there that make a lot of sense. And I'm going to go back to something you said really early when we started talking here, was that video is content. And so what I like to do, and what I think it would be great for everyone to kind of think about, is we write blogs or we make social media posts with images and we try to come up with something fancy to say and all this stuff. That's a lot harder to do than just getting behind a camera, recording. I do this all the time. I record just so I have the content captured and I can use that video if I want, or I can give it to my social media team or my content team and say, hey, here's a blog. I just recorded myself for 2 minutes, and they can produce that into a long form piece, and they capture what I'm thinking and my original thought behind it. And if I give something like that to my social team here or my writers, they much rather have that than them trying to figure out what they're going to write for me, or SEO piece for a client. What are we going to write? What's the topics? What's, all these things. So if you can record video first, all that other content is so much easier to produce. And so if you can get used to this cadence and recording all the time, then all that other content can be repurposed, and a video could be 20 different social media posts in little clips or pieces or screenshots, quotes you said. There's just so much you can do. And video, I think, is the easiest way to do that.
You can totally repurpose that. And you mentioned video first.
Yes, and that's on our list of topics to cover. So
yeah, video first marketing strategy. We've been doing this for years and doing exactly what you said. Yeah. Because you can derive all that ancillary content or derivative content from that one video. And thinking about writing versus, writing a blog post versus being able to answer a question really quickly. It's just easier. And not only that, with a video, you can see the person's, your prospective client is going to be looking at you,
hearing you, right?
And hearing you and seeing you. And if you have multiple videos and one day you're clean shaven in a polo shirt, the other day you might be a little scruffy or have a tan in a sports jacket, they're seeing you at different looks, but you're coming across
a real person.
A real person, exactly. You're coming across professionally, just like you would in person. And then when they meet you, right, they're like, wow, this is the person I just saw on the video.
I think that's huge.
Would it be cool if I switched gears and played that video now? Because I think it might be.
I think that's perfect timing. So Robert's got a video he wanted to share up on his screen.
Yeah.
And that goes more into that, especially for law firms and partners, why they should be doing video. So let's play that video. Okay. And if you're in your car listening on audio, you'll be able to hear this clip. And if you want to watch this will be video format on our YouTube, our website, or LinkedIn. You can check it out there. So
okay.
So Robert,
here we go.
Let's play it up.
Can you confirm that you can see it?
We are good to go.
Legal marketing teams and accounting marketing teams should really be pushing their partners to get in front of the camera, because at the end of the day, it is the partners who are actually driving the business opportunities of their firms. It's their skill set, it's their personality, their bedside manner, and everything that they've done in order to build that trust and credibility with clients to get new casework. So what other marketing medium is going to allow you to get those partners out in front of people on a very wide basis? What video allows you to do is have digital assets that you can use in multiple channels on your website, in blogs, on bio pages, emails, social, and those videos last potentially for 3, 4, or 5 years. what other marketing investment can you make that will last that long and allows potential clients to get to know your partners before they pick up the phone? Or maybe it's even during a sales process when you're courting those prospects and they're getting closer to signing with you. Chances are they're going back to your website to check your firm out and to check those partners out. So that's why accounting teams and legal marketers should really be pushing their partners to do video.
Awesome.
Yeah.
100% agree. I mean, think about when you're, I mean, for me, I think, especially for attorneys, right? An attorney listening, you're, say you're divorced, right? Or anything like that. Like you're doing a lot of research. It's a long sales process potentially for, like, say, divorce. I'm just using that as an example. And to really understand who's my attorney representing me, what do they sound like, what do they look like? And I think in your mind, you're probably thinking that probably has a lot to do with how well they'll perform for me. And I want to have a good relationship with them. I want them to understand me. And so by hearing them and seeing them, you can build a lot of that trust and that relationship, even though you've never met them. And I've had this happen to me many times with clients reach out, potential clients that say, hey, I want to sign with you. I feel like I know you, even though we haven't met. I know that sounds weird because I'm always up on LinkedIn. I'm always pushing videos. And so I've signed clients that have made the decision to sign with us for lots of money per month. And they've never met me, and they feel like they've built that connection.
I know you. Yeah. Yeah.
So having that experience and seeing it happen, and making everyone that's watching right now understand that is very possible. And so by having video, you're going to set yourself apart from all these folks that just haven't adopted it yet.
Video is a great pre-qualifier, and because of all the things that you said, because people watch, and I've heard, well, people might not like me on video. Well, they're not going to like you in person.
Maybe they're not a right fit for you.
But when they do like you and they watch a few videos, they will get to know you and they will pre-qualify themselves because they've already started to make a decision. They're seeing you again. Maybe you have a tan, maybe you got a polo shirt, maybe you have a sports jacket on, different settings, different times, they're seeing you at different times, but yet you're coming across professional and you're like, this is the person that I want to at least call, right? And then go through the sales process with. And just a little PS with that video that I just shared, that's it's about 3.5 years old.
Yeah, you right? Think it comes off as
recorded yesterday.
A brand new video, yeah.
Yeah. So there's value to creating content that answers common questions and gets your face out there. That's evergreen. So,
well, let's go into talking about how these folks that are listening can get the video produced in different ways. And you have one way that I wasn't familiar with that I think would be very helpful for folks to know about.
So it's
you're thinking, hey, I got a video crew come to my office, or do I got to make my own studio? Like, how do I capture video on a cadence, and what does that look like, and what's the different options they have?
Yep. So let's kind of just talk about some of those options. We talked about the do-it-yourself, and we talked about like hiring a company like mine. I think we've talked about some of the pros and cons of both of those. There's a middle ground that it's called remote video capture, which basically leverages smartphones, mobile devices, which shoot up to 4K.
Mm-hmm.
And we have an app that people will download an app onto the phone, and we still maintain all the professional services. So what's the professional services of video? Well, pre-production, making sure that everybody has the messaging, everybody knows what they're going to be talking about. And then during production, coaching and directing them, so they do come across like they are in person. And then, of course, the final is editing. So the remote video capture maintains that entire professional services process, but just does it remotely. And we've had remarkable results with this particular technology, which actually we started pre-COVID and really, kicked up steam during COVID. For law firms, doing an about us video or recruiting video, probably not the right solution, but for the blog content, the subject matter expert, the talking head, that really firms need to do a lot. It's an amazing solution because it does eliminate the need for a crew to show up and show up.
The cost, I assume,
and
too.
The cost associated with that, correct. So if you can eliminate, 50 to 60% of your costs, you can do video more often. And again, the quality stuff is off the charts. We can put motion graphics in, we can put charts in, but the video is driven by a talking head, and we can do anything we want after we have the footage.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I'm actually, while everyone's listening to, if you go to his website, it's right below if you're watching. If not, it's Multivision Digital. Yeah, multivisiondigital.com. But if you go on there, he has examples of these remote videos where they're recording them themselves, and then his team is kind of directing through the app, and then they do the editing. Correct. So they look professional, they look clean. And so I think it's a great option, because to find a good video partner in your hometown or city or town, there might not be an affordable group nearby, or willing to do the type of content you're trying to do. They might just be like big commercials. The TV stations will come do that kind of stuff for you. Big production. They bring a bunch of people out, and then you have to advertise on their platform for them to even do that for you.
Yeah, that's what's one of the things, the myths about video. And unfortunately, there's a lot of video production companies out there that want to produce video. I'm just about to sign with a firm here in the city that they're doing bio videos, and one of the partners didn't like what they came up with, and they did like 3 bio videos for like $32,000. They went out and like upstate New York and shot them running and driving a car and all this other stuff that's just not necessary for a bio video. I was actually shocked, but that was done from a video production company who wants to produce video. I've always positioned Multivision Digital as a digital marketing company that creates video content. And we've done 1,300 videos over the last 12 years. And a lot of them are projects where we're going into a firm, whether it is on location or remotely, but we're doing 2 or 3 or 4 or 7 videos at a time.
Yeah.
Because we just want to create cost-effective content so they can develop a cadence, right? Bio videos, subject matter expert videos for every practice area.
Yes.
Client alerts, recruiting videos, about us videos, state of the firm videos, pro bono videos. There's so many types of videos that a firm can produce that they need to see value in as they develop that cadence and that budget, for video content.
Well, I like what you're saying, because I knew a lot of video production companies, being in the marketing space, friends with a lot of video marketing companies or video companies. Most of the ones I know, and the ones that you kind of mentioned there, they're all in it for the production, the quality of that one piece, and they'll go as far as you want to go. They want that one piece to be just the most amazing thing in the world. But that's not serving the law firm at the end of the day. It's like you're saying, is it's getting them produced and out there to people is more important than just some big, huge production piece that you can be proud of.
Yeah,
and win awards for. Like you need to get it done.
Right, it needs to be professional, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can get quality professional content without breaking the bank.
Yeah.
And and providing value out of that budget. Because once you have, we call them the cheeks and the seats. So like Kevin, like let's say you're in front of the camera, we do one video, I'm all set up, again, whether it's remote or on location, we do all the pre-production. How much more effort is it for you to do another 2 or 3 videos while you're there?
Yeah, when we do videos here, I want to do like 4 or 5, whatever we can knock out, and
Exactly. Yep.
and make use of that time. And that's it's a very good point. Like, make use of that time, and instead of having to do it every week, maybe you batch it. And that's another thing, like batching it once a month, coming on a Saturday, a Sunday, whatever it might take to get that done. But it's just as much effort, and it takes just as much time in your day.
So that's part of your strategy, thinking out, okay, well, what are we going to be touching upon over the next 2 or 3 months? And I'm going to quote one of my favorite phrases. When you first start thinking about video, the first thing to do is to forget about video. So are you going after, divorce or bankruptcy or cannabis, some of the corporate lawyers? Where's your business going? Where are you investing your time, money, and effort? And then you're creating content. Oh, happens to be video. And you can plan out your next 2 or 3 months.
Absolutely.
Batch produce in one day with the planning and the strategy, and then roll that out, once, for the whole 3 months.
Yep.
And you will pay more for that batch producing, but you're getting a lot more value. Your per video cost is lower than if you came in and did 6 videos at 6 different days and 6 different times. And the other thing is, like, I never really thought about this, but like lawyers' time is valuable too, right? It takes some effort to think about the video, to get in the mindset of doing a video. And like, why do that 6 times when you can come in and just bang it out in like a half a day?
Yeah, exactly. Like, just knock it out. You might waste a lot of time that one day. You might be exhausted when you're done, but you got it. And now you have that content that's going to be working for you. And so I'll kind of throw in there kind of what we do. So we do strategy here. That's mainly what we focus on and why you should hire us. And when we're looking at, we do content calendars for clients for SEO. And so based on how much they're spending with us and how much content we can produce, we have the next 3 months at least all mapped out with what topics and what pieces that we're writing and putting together. And if you have a SEO firm or someone that's doing the same as us, you could take that list and go to like a Robert and say, here's the next 3 months. We're going to have, these 6 or 9 articles that are being produced based on a strategy of where the firm's going, right?
Yep.
Based on keyword research and SEO and all that. Then there's your videos right there. And if you can do those, prior to the content team, then you can provide that to them so they have some original thought to put into their content.
If I had a mic, I'd drop it right now. It's what it's all about, and this is where like, Array Digital like takes the lead with developing the strategy of creating content, and then have firms to start to, if you're just getting started, you don't need to do a whole, 3 months worth of video content, but start to splice in or seed in video content, right? Once every 3rd post, once every other, once every 4th, whatever it is. And then you'll be able to report back, over, the last 6 months or so, here's the pages that have performed better. Oh, there's a video there.
They probably have video on them. And if you look at so with SEO, we look at bounce rate and time on page as metrics of things that we want to see. Are people spending time on the content? And if there's a video, I'm watching the video versus reading the copy. And so we can accomplish our SEO goals by putting together the copy. But Google loves to see that there's video included, and then your time on page increases, which means everything else increases, and you'll get better ranked for that too. So, and Google also owns YouTube, which is a video search engine, which the video goes on to, gets optimized, and now you can come up in Google search, and the video can come up before your website page can come up, and all kinds of other things that they can do. So there's just so many advantages to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it honestly, to be doing SEO and writing content and not producing videos it's kind of like you're doing it halfway. So I think it's necessary. I have tasks right now, Robert, for videos articles that we wrote months ago and all the way up to now that I haven't recorded videos for, which I'm going back and producing videos back. And you can do that too, right? You can go look at articles that are performing for you as a law firm, get your SEO team. Hey, what's our top pages and that we get? All right, I want to add videos to them.
Mm-hmm.
Or let's, beef them up.
That's another great instance of the first thing to do when you start thinking about video is to forget about video, right? It's about the business strategy. So the business strategy is not going after an industry, but it's okay, let's secure our ranking on these pages or even rank higher with these pages, or maybe we're going to rewrite a couple pages,
exactly.
Rank, right? So that's your strategy. So again, video should always follow your business strategy.
Absolutely. And I think that's the most important thing here is strategy, talking through what the business goals are, understanding that, looking at the metrics. And from, our standpoint, we look at search volume and competition and all these things and say, okay, here's a strategy that's going to work for you and propel your firm forward over the next 12 months or 24 months or whatever it may be. And video is going to just help you get there even faster. So,
one of the things that we kind of talked about in the pre-planning is the scripting. So I think it might be a good point to talk because we're talking about like all this past content and creating new content, and I can almost hear lawyers like, oh my gosh, I need to script all this. And my advice is don't script. Don't.
I love it. I'm so happy you said that.
Gosh, I hate scripting.
I had my content writer be like, hey, I'm gonna put together a script for you for each of these articles. And my business partner was like, oh, he's like, I did one of those recently. It's like, it was insane and challenging and takes so much time. And I was sitting there going, I really don't want to have a script for these. And I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll use this, what we're doing today, as an analogy. Hopefully we don't suck. But no, we did some pre-planning. We had like a guide of what we wanted to talk about. And, we're kind of two people that know our business. So we're able to talk about it. So if you take that analogy of what this person listening here, what you want to talk about, what you want to rank for, what questions you want to answer, you do that every day without a script.
You know your business.
Yeah. Does that mean you need to be perfect today? Us, certainly we're not. We ummed and ahhed and we maybe repeated things.
We're off the script. This is ad hoc.
Script.
I like to have a conversation and go wherever it's going to go.
So you want to be real versus perfect, and perfect is fake. And I would say one more thing about video is people just listening to this, you can't see this, but I'm turning my body off the lens of the camera right now, and you're only seeing my profile. You want to talk to the camera. You don't want to talk off to the side. Again, when we talk to people, we look at them, and you want people to see your eyes.
Absolutely. So I like that. No script. Plan a little bit, figure out what topic you want and prepare a little bit, but and how long you're trying to record, but your stuff. And so think about if I asked you a legal question right now, and what you could tell me and what advice you can give me, of course, and how you respond to that. What you're going to say, you know how to handle that in that situation. And a lot of this type of stuff, there's a good book out there. You ask, they answer. And you're just answering questions that are commonly asked of your clients. And that's what SEO, that's a big basis for that. Answering questions that people usually have. And they search for those questions. They can find a video, the answer, article with the answer, you with the answer, right? And so you know your business, and it should not be harder than that. You should just get behind the camera and be able to talk it, because you know it.
Yes. So you mentioned it shouldn't be harder than that, but that's where the practice comes in. And that's where I was saying in the very early on, it's going to take you like a couple times to understand the whole process, to know how you are in front of the camera. And again, forget about the whole marketing aspect of the video, just about your presentation and getting used to this piece of electronic in front of you. It takes a little while. Some people can get it like that. Very few can. So once you see yourself and give yourself the opportunity not to be perfect and just go with it, you will get better. Guarantee it.
Yeah, I think it's better to start and get started with it, and because you'll start to see things you don't like, and you'll improve. It's just going to happen, just like with anything with repetition. Yep. And in hiring someone like Robert's company, I will say, and I just said right, but when we have a plan for a video here, having someone that knows what to do and tell you makes it so much easier and actually more comfortable, is because they know what to do, right? And so they'll say, hey, do this, try this, you don't have to say this, and then all of a sudden, boom, you run through it, and they're like, oh, that was perfect. And they just give you a little guidance, and that's what Robert's company can do, remote or in person, right? So I think having that person that understands how to, it's like a kid's photographer that knows how to take pictures of kids, right? And you're like, I don't want to have to do that. I don't know how they always get them to smile and laugh. So these coaches or the videographer, whoever it may be, that if they understand what to do and how to guide you, makes a huge difference. I've had a bunch of videos that I was hung up on or doing for commercials, and just you make it more difficult than it is. So they can do little things and say, hey, nope, do this, don't worry about that. And then you're like, okay. Yep. And then you forget the camera's even there.
Yep.
So love it. Awesome. Well, Robert, anything else you want to cover in our topics today before?
I think we're good. Like there's always more. We can do like a part 2 later on, but I think we covered a lot, and hopefully whoever's listening is getting some value out of this. And just to reiterate, like, get started today. A year from now, you'll be glad you got started today, and develop this skill set, or maybe going with the gym analogy, the muscle memory.
Yeah, I'm right behind you on that. I know from my company, we've not done as much video as I want to do. I do these all the time, of course, but so that's a new initiative that I'm rolling out, to video for everything that we're doing. And it's just going to help all you attorneys out there. I mean, there's so many that I know or I've had on this show that don't have any video at all that need to be doing it. You need to work it into your into your business. Just has to be a standard thing. And everyone else that you work with, whether it's the social media company or in-house, they're going to have so much more to work with, and it's going to do so much more for your brand and your company. And so you're not just helping yourself, but you're everything, the whole strategy, repurposing. And look at I'll leave you with this thing too, is look at social media platforms. TikTok, all video. The only way to post on TikTok, you have to put a video. Instagram, you only get new following and new reach with Reels, which is video. So YouTube, all video, right? So all these platforms are recognizing and rewarding video, and that's probably not going away anytime soon. So
that is true, but that should just support the importance of video. And I probably would say most people listening to this should not be creating video for TikTok or Instagram, because that's not where clients are. There's a couple out there, I'm sure, right? But for the majority of law firms, you want to create your video for search, for YouTube, for your website, and maybe LinkedIn, and all this other ancillary stuff. That's icing on the cake. But create.
I feel like those areas, that's more creating noise, getting your name out there. Yeah. If you want to get those views and stuff. But I totally agree with you. I know some attorneys that have done well in those, but you can't control where they are. So if you say you practice in Texas and you're doing personal injury videos, I can't control only that Texas people with an issue find my video. So it's really hard to target. So that's just for creating noise. I was just kind of making the point that all these platforms are only rewarding video, and they're not rewarding other types of just photo post or text post. And so the importance of video is obvious to those platforms. So, you need to look at it and say, yeah, this is important to my firm.
Yep.
100%. All right. Well, awesome. Robert, thank you so much for sharing. Obviously, there's so much more we can cover, more things we can go into. I'm sure we could probably come on and do another episode that's maybe more tactical on laying out kind of an approach of recording a video and things like that. Post in the comments. You got any ideas or things you'd like to see us talk about? Happy to come on and do that for you. Check out Robert's company, multivisiondigital.com. He's got lots of cool examples on there. You can reach out to him, connect with him on LinkedIn. I'm sure he'll respond to you there. And yeah.
Any questions anybody has, ask, reach out, and do our best to respond to them. And if it's a question I don't have a video for, I would probably make a video with that question. Eventually.
There you go. That's the right way to do it right there. So.
Yep.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this has been helpful. I hope you'll embrace video if you haven't. If you have, and you see this on LinkedIn or YouTube, post in the comments. Post a link to your website or a video that you've done or videos that you're doing for others to see. I think it's important just for attorneys and especially owners, managing partners, to embrace video, get a plan in place for it, get with your marketing team or your SEO team and say, hey, should I be producing video? Because would that help you guys? And they'll be like, absolutely. We'd love that. So just get out there and start doing it. So, Robert, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kevin.
I'll talk to you soon. You can stay on with me. We'll talk behind the scenes. Everyone else, have a great day and go grow your law firms. Let's get it done.